I have on the line the person that played the Cisco Kid, Mr. Duncan Renaldo. Let me tell you that it's a real thrill to talk to somebody that was a hero of mine when I was a youngster.
Well, God bless you. We were babysitters for most of you when you were young.
I'm trying to think. That was back in the 1950s, wasn't it?
That's right. This show started in '49 on television.
It's been a while since I've seen the show, and I know it's back into reruns now.
Yeah.
But, Duncan, who played your Poncho character, your sidekick?
Oh, that was Leo Carrillo, who was a very fine actor. You know, he was quite a big star on vaudeville and on the stage in New York for many, many years. He was a very fine actor, and he played Poncho with me.
Is he still around?
No, he passed away in 1961.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, Leo, when he was 75, he was chasing bandits through the rocks with me.
Uh-huh. He was 75?
Riding his own horse at 75.
How old were you then?
I was only about 50.
I see. If I'm not mistaken, you must be close to 70.
I am 73 now.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You sound very, very young over the telephone. You must be in good shape.
Thank you very much. I keep busy, you know. I strictly believe that the best thing for your health is to keep as busy as possible, physically and mentally.
Uh-huh. I understand you do a little artwork, don't you?
Yes, I just got through. I haven't done any artwork for 50 years, and a friend of mine wrote some very beautiful poems, so I illustrated the book for them, including the jacket. It's called The Drifter's Dreams. This fellow is in charge of the defense sales for General Motors, and an electrical engineer, and he writes the most beautiful poetry ever read.
So people can have more than one talent, that's for sure.
Oh, sure. Now, these books are only available at the Pickwick store here in Santa Barbara. He only printed 1,000, so they're going to be kind of rare.
They're not going to be the kind we're going to be able to pick up in the bookstores around here, evidently.
No, but if they write to the Pickwick, when they go to the Pickwick people there and ask them to get in touch with the Santa Barbara people, they can get them that way.
Well, that might be interesting. How much does it sell for?
$7.98.
I see, and then you'll have the work of Duncan Renaldo.
Well, the front cover, I did that in color. Then I did one-line drawing. There are about 40 drawings in the book.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. Let me find out what else you've been doing. I understand you've done some lecturing lately.
Oh, yes, I do quite a few of those lectures to universities and high schools and even grade schools. I always take care of kids.
You know, we were talking about your appearance. You've made an appearance here in Bloomington.
Yeah. Yeah, I did, and I went to the hospitals there and saw the kids and the Chamber of Commerce and everybody. We were having quite a time. I did a lot of personal appearances through Illinois, anyhow.
And
it was very popular there.
Yeah, and a lot of the kids that were watching you then are now in college, so maybe we can have you back again sometime at Illinois State University or Illinois Wesleyan.
Well, I hope so.
We have two colleges in town.
You do?
Yeah.
Hey, wonderful.
We may look into that here. How many films were made, Duncan, the Cisco Kid?
Well, we made about 156 television shows and about 12 features in the theatrical business.
I see. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of stressed safety to kids, didn't you, in those pictures?
Oh, yes, indeed. We carried quite a big... Well, we designed the stories so they were not vengeance stories, you know, because vengeance stories trap you into violence all the time, and we try to keep violence at the minimum in our pictures. I never killed anybody in them, and I refused to do it for years and years because I don't think it's proper for the protagonist of a show to take the law in his hands and kill people.
How did you get into movies, Duncan?
I used to draw scenery for a studio in New York in 1923. And that's they gave me a part in one of the pictures, and from then I got in some others, and that started it.
Are you Spanish, I would guess?
Yes.
Duncan Renaldo, that sounds Spanish to me, but
Spanish, the first part is Scottish, and the other is Spanish. It's a mixture.
Anymore, it's hard to tell a person's ancestry sometimes from their names.
Yeah.
At any rate, there's another thing I wanted to ask you about in your pictures, and I understand when you made the pictures, you had more than one Diablo.
That's right. I had 6.
6 horses?
6 horses. They were exactly the same.
What?
The markings on them, because they were black and white pintos. And they lasted for many years, and I used to work them only 4 hours a day. Then I'd send them home.
You know, there's a...
pictures, chasing bandits through the rocks, it's an awful hard thing on a poor horse. So I still have one left. He's 37 years old. Isn't that something for a horse?
That is amazing.
One time he was looking at me, and I could tell he was saying, I'm going to outlive you. About to do it.
You know, there's the Animal Cruelty Society has been down on a lot of the Hollywood motion picture companies, at least during the last several years. I don't know how it was when you were making pictures, but...
Well, we had the HPCA then, but we were very careful with this thing. See, we did stunts. One of my Diablos was a falling horse. It was a mare. She passed away last year at 36. She lasted for 36 years. And out of a gallop, if I touched her right flank, she'd go right down flat. Lie down.
Would
The bandits thought that they had killed me, and they came by, and they went by, and then I got on their tail.
Uh-huh. How long did it take to film an average TV show back then?
About 3 days.
And you'd have it all put together by then.
In 3 days it was done, because Leo was a wonderful ad-lib artist, And he and I used to go behind the rock and come out with new dialogue every time. We didn't follow the script too much.
I'll never forget how you ended the shows. You would laugh, you would say, hey...
Well, that was done purposely. We did that so that the kids would laugh with us, and then Mama didn't have to get up in the middle of the night and change sheets.
Yeah, it would be, the old routine would be, hey, Pancho, and then he'd go, hey, Cisco, right?
Hey, Cisco. Well, Pancho used to tell me a bromide that didn't make sense, so I'd say, oh, Pancho, how could you do that? And he'd say, oh, Cisco, and both of us would laugh and go over the horizon again.
Yeah, they were great motion pictures. They were great TV shows.
They were nice shows. They were family shows. Our audience was about half and half, adult and children.
How do you feel about the new shows today?
I don't like them. I think they're going crazy, absolutely insane. They've killed more people on television shows than actually populated the West, in these Westerns, And it's not right. It's not right to the name of the people who developed the West. The people were not that crazy in those days,
Mm-hmm.
According to pictures and these stories, why they used to shoot everybody before breakfast.
Yeah, I guess so. That's kind of a sad reflection on our times, but...
It is. It's not a fair thing to our children who grow up with a warped idea of the settlement of the West, and to the old people who work so damn hard barehanded,
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
It's a nice country.
What do you think of the other entertainment we have, the rock groups and all that kind of thing?
Well, some of them are cute and nice. It's a little bit too much. It's saturated the air. There's a certain monotonous kind of a repetitive type of programming.
Uh-huh. I think...
People are not getting... television is a powerful thing. It's one of the most powerful media ever invented. And they are not taking advantage of it at all.
Uh-huh.
Because they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it gets monotonous after a while,
I was going to say, I think a lot of the kids aren't really having the benefit of some of the shows that I was able to watch as a youngster.
That's right. Well, listen, Ken, there is enough story material for people to write stories for the next 150 years without duplicating. One time a guy came to me with a story, and I used to take care of the story end of it, Cisco kid, based on vengeance. It was a fearful thing. I said, for God's sakes, don't bring me stuff like that. Can't you write something? Write something about two ducks. I don't care what. He said, how can you write about two ducks for Cisco Kid and Pancho? I said, well, all right, let's sit down and we'll write a story. And we spent a day and a half on 1 pint of whiskey and came out with the cutest little story. We had the 4 ducks that were the protagonists up in Salt Lake City. They were Mormon. And they all got in the middle of an awful lot of feud down there. And finally, Pancho imitated the ducks and trapped the bad men.
Yeah, that's kind of a novel idea.
Well, it's a novel idea, but there are such things that if the people would only pay attention to the relationship between human beings, they can come out with all kinds of beautiful stories, interesting ones.
Some of the shows that they're bringing back, I've noticed that the storylines are very, very simple, and yet they're very entertaining and very interesting.
Well, they are, because there is a certain amount of self-identification with the story from the audience's viewpoint. And that's what is powerful about this stuff. And it's been powerful in literature since the time of the Greeks. I don't know why these people have suddenly gotten into a groove. It's just like having a phonograph with a plate on it, one of those discs. and the needle goes in the groove and it can't get out of there.
The days that when you aren't working, you're not lecturing and that kind of thing, what do you find yourself doing now, Duncan?
Oh, I raise a lot of fruits and vegetables and stuff. I've got quite a garden here. And I do a lot of work. I take care of it myself. So I don't have a gardener doing work for me. It's the best thing in the world to get busy, you know.
Do you still get fan mail from kids?
Oh, yes, tremendously so. Because they show the pictures through the East now. And I imagine pretty soon there'll probably another company, the road company, the ones that have the Hollywood squares, they bought the shows. So now they'll probably release them all over again. And I get fan mail from Africa, from Australia, from everywhere.
How can they write you if
These pictures were dubbed in 7 languages.
How can they write you if they'd like to write to you?
They just write to me, Santa Barbara, California, I get it.
Is that right? Duncan Renaldo?
That's right.
Santa Barbara,
As
California?
long as they put Cisco Kid in it.
Do you watch the old shows?
Oh, very seldom. They're not playing them much around in the West here.
It's interesting, though, and it was a good old show. I want to thank you for talking with me.
Well, Ken, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and please convey to the folks there my good wishes for a good health and happiness for all of them, and then they're all rich. They don't need any more than that.
Let me ask you this. What do you think is the most important thing in life?
That's what I think. If you have good health and happiness, you're very rich. And I used to tell the kids, and I still do, youngsters, you know, that grow up, the strongest weapon that you can have in your hands is kindness. Nobody can stand up against kindness. They'll get, sooner or later, you wear them out.
Fine words. Duncan Renaldo, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ken.
Our best to you.
Same to you.